Hi, it's Mary Growing Puppies, and I want to talk today about the difference between males and females to help you decide whether you will get a male or female puppy, because this is the most common question that I get asked from my customers. So I am hoping that this video will help you. First of all, when I look in general on the internet about this question, I find that people who are just talking about it in general seem to say a lot of things that I have not found to be true. And so there's a lot of possibly incorrect information out there. But when I specifically read information about what people who are breeding the same breed of dogs as me, either schnauzers or schnoodles or poodles, I tend to find that those breeders do tend to agree with me. So I kind of feel that part of the differences could be more a bigger thing in different breeds possibly, but there are a lot of things that I do think are the same. And so, for instance, I think there is common misconception that boys will be more aggressive, and I believe that that is based on a unneutered male dog who is pursuing a female who is in season. And yes, none of these, I don't think people should be comparing dogs based on when they're in the prime of their mating season, because then nature is very strong and makes genders very distinct. And for instance, when a girl is in season, she can also be extremely rude to a male who tries to even look at her if she's not ready. So, I mean, the point is that the behaviors will become very unusual, are not unusual, but not your norm, and it doesn't last for very long. Like, my girls will become very kind of overly excitable, and just chaos is what I want to call it. When my girls are coming into season at the same time, it just becomes chaos, and I think to myself, oh, I'm glad this will only last a week or two, because then it will calm down and then they'll be very calm and chill again. But in the height of their mating season, things are crazy. So yeah, I mean, you're not going to choose your dog based on what it would be if you were breeding them, unless you're a breeder, and then you're going to choose a male or female based on the role you need your dog to play. So, so yes, if you want humping behavior, you don't want humping behavior, well, I'm here to tell you, the girls will hump just as much as the boys will when they're in season. And if you want to talk about marking, girls mark just like boys do. And when they're in season, they will be marking a lot. So, you know, that's something to be aware of. Now, as far as marking with males go, this was confirmed by another trainer, I guess, who said that basically, if you, from the time you had your little puppy, if you are teaching them to go potty outside and you have been training them so that they accept you as their leader, then they're not going to be marking in their house, in your house. They will be respectful of that. And so when they're little puppies, you do have to watch them. And just like with a girl, if she decides to mark in your house, you would tell her no. And just like if it's a boy, you tell him no, you take them outside. If you see a boy as he's starting to come into sexual maturity, if he lifts his leg, if you're there to tell him no, they will learn not to do that. But it was interesting because my male who was neutered, and my females would do this too, if they go into a house of a dog that they don't know, the natural instinct is to mark, because they're that's how dogs sort of pronounce their presence, or let people, their other canine friends, know that they're there. They're very scent oriented. But in their own house, they don't do that. They learn not to potty or do that sort of thing in their own house, except for a male. If a female is in season, will need to usually wear a belly band, because then he will be inclined to again start marking, and the females will possibly start marking if they're in the presence of a male during their season. So again, those are behaviors that are with breeding dogs, not with pet dogs. Once you spay or neuter your dog, there shouldn't be this kind of these kinds of problems if you've raised them appropriately and haven't just let them do willy-nilly all over in general. So as far as lifting the leg, that is something that males generally start to do, lift their leg to use the potty as their maturity, but hopefully you have been on top of their potty training from the beginning so that they're using the potty outside. And same thing, girls, if a girl is particularly dominant, she may also lift her leg. But usually it's a dominance thing. That's usually a male behavior. Most girls will squat. There are some boys that will squat. Usually when they're puppies, they're squat, but usually by about 7 months, a boy will start to lift his leg. But I don't really see that as a big deal to me. It's just their behavior, no big deal. It doesn't cause any problems. So again, I think a lot of the strong feelings about male versus female will come from ideas from years gone by before people typically spayed or neutered. But I have found, as I say, that when you spay or neuter a dog, then the sexual behaviors stop, the hormones stop, and they start to be very similar as far as being good pets. And in my own home, we have an unneutered male and several unspayed females, and they're lovely pets. I just have to be a little more controlling of them when they are in season to make sure that they don't mark or do things that they normally wouldn't do. I mean, some things, like the crazy behavior, that goes with the territory. So I will have to separate different ones to make sure that the breeding is controlled and that certain dogs aren't, getting overly, well, let's see, some of them will be more, I don't want to say the word bitchy, but that's what it is. When they're in season, they can get real snippy with each other. So again, that's just a breeding type behavior that you probably wouldn't run into. I mean, I do recommend that you skip your first season for your girl and that you wait till the hormones start coming in for the males before you neuter, that you don't spay or neuter too early, that in general. But the kind of behaviors I'm talking about are when you have multiple dogs in season and together, different genders, or multiple females in season at the same time, then they start to get snippy with one another. So yeah, and as far as dominance go, males are not more dominant than females. In my house, my females rule the roost. They definitely control or tell the male what the deal is. They will not allow him to breed until they are ready to breed, and he's not going to push them around. They definitely will put him in his place, and that's every single one of them. My male is not particularly submissive either. I mean, he is very, I wouldn't say I don't know whether I'd say he's particularly dominant or submissive. He's just a very normal dog. But males do respond to the communications that the female give it, so in a breeding household. So so I just wanted to lay that all out for once you spay or neuter your dog, then they just have their own unique personalities, and it's not whether it's boy or girl. I mean, like in my house, I have males and females, and I wouldn't say that I prefer males or females. Each of my children are individuals, and they're wonderful in their own way, and I don't find I don't find the boys to be more difficult than the girls. They have all their own, each individual person has their own individual set of challenges or unique personalities, but they're also equally wonderful, and I love all my kids. So I would never have said I want boys or I want girls. I just think they're both wonderful. So so now the only thing, like I posed this question to my vet because I figured she's going to be very neutral in giving a very honest answer, and I kind of did like her response because she said, from a veterinary standpoint, difference between male or female, the only thing that she would comment on is indeed valid. The male procedure for neutering is a lot less invasive than the space surgery. A space surgery is an abdominal surgery. Puppy will usually have to have an overnight stay at the hospital for an abdominal surgery. It's a little longer recovery and it's a little more expensive a surgery. Whereas for a male, the neuter surgery is a lot less invasive, and it's much quicker recovery time, and it is a less expensive procedure. So from that aspect, males are easier. There's one other thing I've heard people say, that males are more affectionate than girls. And as far as the Schnoodle goes, this is an affectionate breed. If you want more affection than what you're getting from the breed, then that's going to be a real pushy dog. But I would say that at least for the male that I have and the male that I had previously, the first Schnauzer that I owned that was neutered, he was not pushy, and he was as loving as any of my other dogs. My poodle now, my male poodle, is very loving, but he is not he's not on my lap as often as the girls are. I would say my girls are probably more cuddly than he is, but when he wants to cuddle, he wants to cuddle, and he definitely is maybe a little more demanding of my attention when he needs my attention. And so I would say the girls are more even keel as far as sitting on my lap and wanting to be near me on a general basis, and he's more distracted doing other things. But when he wants to sit with me, then he will paw me if I don't pet him or pay attention to him. So I give him lots of love because I know that he doesn't demand it as often. I give him a lot of petting and cuddling and all that, and then he's like, okay, good. Then he's had, and then he runs off and plays. But I don't know if that's an individual thing, but I had heard that said that boys were more affectionate than girls, and so it's like, well, that's not my experience with my dogs. All my dogs are very great companion dogs, very loving, very people-centric, and very smart. And so I think those are the main things. Friendliness is another thing. All my dogs are very friendly. And I think part of the thing is not just the dogs themselves, because certainly genetics is an important characteristic, that you're breeding dogs that are genetically sound. We do have whole breeds that were kind of destroyed by not enough diversity in the breed, and they got kind of crazy. Like I understand I don't want to put down any breed, but I understand that Doberman Pinschers kind of went a little on the crazy side, and there's been other breeds that just their popularity but not careful breeding did some harm to the breed. But with this these particular dogs, I mean, clearly we have two completely genetic diverse gene pools from the purebred Schnauzer and the purebred Poodle, so that's going to really mellow out any sharper points if they had them, but I don't really feel they do. But they do seem to be super duper friendly dogs, and a good part of that, I believe, is environment. And we do raise them very carefully from the beginning to give them a lot of love and a lot of positive experiences. And we do the early neurological stimulations where you hold the puppy in different positions to help it to be able to develop to its greatest potential. And we do introduce it to various environments. You know, we don't keep it in the same place all the time. We have different pens in different places, and we expose them to different people. But we always keep things positive for the puppies. And I think as long as you continue what you need to do on your part, which is get the puppies out especially while they're young, so that they experience a lot of different places and people and things. It doesn't mean that they have to be being held by people or playing with people or playing with other dogs or being handled. Sometimes that can be a negative. The better thing really is for them, just like a service dog is not to be touched by anybody, but they're in the presence of all these things, and they learn to just be calm in the presence of anything that comes their way. So the more experiences you can give your puppy where you don't overload the puppy, but you let them experience them in a calm and you gradually allow more things, that is going to give you the best dog possible. And we get really great feedback from our customers, and so my hope is that indeed that the genetic diversity and the good breeding that these doggies come from, the really great lines, make a big difference, but then also the fact that I help prepare you for what you should be doing with your puppy when you go home. And I do believe I have some really great customers who raise their puppies very well, and I think they do their part. So someone there is saying hello. That's Lily. Hello, Lily. So I think that means goodbye. I should probably be going. If you have any other questions, let me know. Thanks. Bye.